This is like the dirty pottery way to do it. These are just masonite boards. They each have they have two holes. One is a regular hole. This one's a little bit wider because these pins on every wheel are a little bit spaced just slightly different from each manufacturer has their own, everything. This is probably going to get in the way, but I'm feeling that, so I throw with I usually have a sponge in my hand. I don't throw with a lot of water. First move I'm making is to push down. I want the clay to adhere itself to the bat. This is a little low for me as well. You want your hips to be just about even with the wheel. So if you have a seat or a lift or something that you want to play with, that's fine. But it's about, you do what you can. So I'm pushing down. I'm holding the wheel is going this way around. I'm bracing my elbow. I keep my elbows in all the time. I'm bracing my elbow with my left. It's right on my left hip almost, like right in there. The clay is coming around, and the force is here on the palm of my hand. So this stabilizes in this direction. And in this direction, I'm pushing down first, and I'm pushing with the fat part. You can see where I'm pushing with the fat part of my hand. And this wheel, you'll also notice, is like it has a little bit of a wobble to it. It's old. What are you gonna do? And then the next, I'm pulling in with my fingers. This is called coning your clay. I'm making I'm kind of getting all the platelets, all the pieces of the particles of clay kind of going in the same direction. I'm eliminating like lumps and bumps, air bubbles. And so we do this a few times, and you just bring it up into a cone, and it gets wobbly, whatever. And then I'm pushing, when I'm bringing it back down, again, I'm pushing with the flat part of my hand. I'm pushing into, on an angle, like a karate chop almost, into my hand here. I'm imagining that space. It's like I'm pushing down with this hand. My left hand is catching the clay and shaping it, holding it in one direction. I use the slip that's created on the side a lot to keep my clay lubricated.
Is your left hand what is centering the clay in the middle?
It's holding the place of the clay. It's both hands. The force in both directions is what's centering the clay as it turns around. Couple things: don't ever touch your clay when the wheel isn't moving. You'll figure out why. It throws it off, just minutely, but it throws it off. And then before you let go of the clay, when you're throwing, this is specifically when you're throwing, take a breath and then remove your hands. So anyway, I'm going to keep going, and just so you can see what happens. Coning. I'm going to start with I'm beginning to open the clay, and with that motion, I literally just push down. Some people push down with their thumb. Some people use 2 fingers, 1 finger. It's a personal experience. The first thing I'm going to do is use my needle tool to check the depth of my clay. I want to know how thick the bottom is. This is going to be the bottom of the clay, so I want to know where that is. I stick that right in there. That's a lot of thickness. I've got a lot of play in that. I know that I'm not going to bust through the bottom. That's the first thing that happens. I'm sure What do you guys want to see? A bowl or a... So the wheel wants to make a bowl, you know, it's centrifugal force.
And that's where the magic happens.
And then Patrick Swayze.
Do we have to play Unchained Melodies?
Yes. Not really, but it helps me.
You're not muddy enough. What's that called? What you're doing?
I'm sure some type of thing. I'm pulling the clay. I'm pulling the wall. So I'm like, all right. As I'm feeling this, you know, I'm gonna ask you to spend a lot of time with your hands talking to one another, and it's hard, like you get an idea of what. So you can, all your ribs do the same kind of thing. They're there to help create they do, so it not only helps create like a nice smooth surface, it compresses the very surface of that clay, makes things a little bit tighter, kind of squishes out your water. One thing that I always do, if you look at my, if you look at the rim, you can see that it's nice and thick. This is where this comes in handy. So this is like the part where, this is like, it helps cut off the thing. So you've got this big wide blob of clay down here at the bottom, and like, oh, what do I do with it? You're gonna have to trim that off at some point in time. So you can come in with these and sort of like make you can take some of that clay away because you're just going to trim it off anyway. Typically you see me like scraping this off, I would typically be putting that on the side over here. I'll reuse that clay. There's sawdust in here and I didn't clean it up. All right, so that's the part of that. The next step that I would do would be to cut it off the bat. Again, try not to touch your clay when it's not moving. You tend to knock things out of control. So at this stage, I would pick this up, and I cut it off the bat. You want to separate it from the bat. That gives it. You can slice right through your clay with these things. So I'll show you again. I'll just show you how to do that. But for right now, I just want to take a look at. But this,
kill me.
Goodness.
Yeah.
Kill me, really.
But it teaches you a lot to look at the insides of your.
Thank you.
Yeah. Sorry, did you get it? Did you?
Yeah, I did.
Okay. So it teaches you a lot. When it's not so wonky. You want to strive for, uniform thickness here. We can trim that off at the, when this is done. You can, there's space to trim it. So as you're learning to feel your clay, the thickness of your clay, as you're learning to get your fingers to talk to one another, you'll.
Is that a good thickness?
Yeah, for what you want. You can have it thinner, you can have it thicker. It's thicker clays, if you the idea is to create lighter pottery because, like nobody likes to pick up a mug and go for breakfast and get your morning workout in at the same time. But if you tend to just the way you throw or when you're starting, and that's a great place to tear away some clay, take, carve into it, take away from.
Oh,
You can, there's all kinds of things that you can do on the wheel, and I'll just keep showing you some.
Awesome.
Showing